Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I wanted to talk about how to meet the right and perfect man for you and share how I've done it. I met and married my husband in 2023. Yes, all in the same year we met and got married. And we just welcomed our first baby last summer. I went from single to married in a year, and it's all because of the practices and standards and routines that I'm going to share with you here. Now, of course, God ultimately brings that person into your life, so I can't take credit for that, but I do know that we can prepare the space beautifully to receive the love that's meant for us. A lot of women who desire this beautiful partnership of marriage one day, my friends, my clients, have asked me how to shift the dynamics in their dating life to magnetize the level of love that they're desiring. And I'm so passionate about you experiencing the love that's meant for you while you're here on this earth. So let's get into it. Number one, be intentional about dating. I have seen my girlfriends, and I myself have experienced, receiving an abundance of the wrong type of suitors when we are not intentional about dating, meaning that we have not given any thought to our standards, our vision for our love life, the type of man that we desire, or what we're genuinely wanting in this season of life from love. And just sort of going along without having a relationship to those things, without being intentional, and letting connection just kind of fall into your lap in a very unintentional way. Now, it's one thing to receive surprises from God, from life, to meet people unexpectedly, but I'm talking about letting yourself form attachments to people and situations when you haven't explicitly thought out, what do I require in love? What do I require in a relationship? And for me, the best way to do that is to actually give yourself a window where you are intentionally dating. So for me, at the end of 2022, I literally gave myself 30 days. I had been so focused on work and on my professional success. And I said, you know what? From Thanksgiving to Christmas, I'm on break from work anyways. I gave myself 30 days to go on dating apps, to go on dates, and to intentionally vet people and be super clear about what I wanted, what I was open to, and then just have fun, but I didn't just stumble into relationships or situationships or people who wanted to take my time and energy. I decided I was giving myself this window to be open to love, and that allowed me to vet people properly, to be very receptive, to be in enjoyment, and to just be intentional about the process. Like I said, I have seen women in my life, amazing, beautiful, talented, gifted, pure-hearted women, get pulled into situations with men just because they were not being intentional and they formed an emotional attachment to someone who just happened to fall into their lap. So I really recommend being specific about a time window when you're intentionally dating, when you're ready for it, when the rest of your life is taken care of, and to know your goal. Is your goal to have fun and experience different types of people? Is your goal to get into a serious committed relationship? Is your goal marriage? Because for me, the goal was marriage. So anything that wasn't looking like marriage with the person within the first few dates of getting to know them and what it was that they were desiring, the result that I was seeking helped me to very quickly vet people. Number two, care about your money as much as you care about love. This is because you want to feel so secure in yourself. You don't want to feel any kind of a lack around your financial stability or around your situation in life to where somebody can use money to come in and manipulate you. I don't think that there's anything wrong with receiving from men. I don't think there's anything wrong with men providing. My husband provides in beautiful ways for our family and for me, and that is what I was seeking when I was looking for a partner. However, when I met him, I was at the top of my game professionally. I had saved 6 figures in my savings account, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that I did not need anything from a man financially. Everything that they were bringing at that time was a blessing. It was above and beyond. It was fun. It was an experience. And it showed me how generous they would be with me in a serious relationship, in a marriage, and with a family. But it was not something that I was actually lacking. And that is a key point that I want to drill in. Make sure that when you are preparing for love, anywhere that you feel a lack, and money is just an easy one to point out, but obviously there can be other inner pieces where you might feel lack that you need to work on. But with money, make sure that you're not vulnerable to be manipulated by a man who just comes in and uses that to get you into a transactional situation where you feel like you owe him something. It puts all the cards in your hand, and it gives you so much power as a woman to choose the right person for you who actually makes you feel safe, and to just have fun in the process and not feel attached or feel like, ooh, this person has something that I'm lacking in my life, so I better hold on to them. That's never going to lead to the highest alignment in love. So you want to make sure that you're super clean around money and that you have everything that you need. So if your money situation is not together, or if you're unstable in that way, I would say pause on dating until you get that together. Number 3 is abstinence. I was very clear with the men that I was dating that I was not intending to have sex until I was in a marriage. There are so many reasons for this. I mean, spiritually speaking, the people that you sleep with, it actually creates a covenant and an attachment spiritually. So that's something to note. But even if you're not thinking about it on that level, or if you're not as deep in with God as I was or I am, it creates an emotional attachment. So whatever level you're thinking about attachment on, it creates a bond, it creates a covenant, it creates an attachment, and it's going to make the courtship process impure, so to speak, because you're not letting his actions show you so much as you're now telling yourself a narrative about his actions that suits you, making it work because you feel attached now. And I could get deeper into the energetic and spiritual consequences of this and how it takes up space in your field and how it actually can block the right man from being able to feel you and find you when you have that type of connection with the wrong person. But suffice it to say that I highly recommend abstinence when you are in a season of being serious about commitment, love, and potentially marriage. Now, going hand in hand with that, I have to say, having your identity rooted in God. And this is, again, just so that you don't put any man on a pedestal, because as much as men add to our lives, as wonderful as they are, no matter how much they're able to care for your emotions, to provide for you, to protect you, no man is God. He will disappoint you. He is a human being. He's a man. So if your identity is not rooted in God, is not rooted in something that can give you unconditional love, unconditional protection, unconditional adoration, then anytime he shows up as less than what you are expecting, you will make it mean something about you, and you will create issues in the relationship. You will be quick to blame him, to need to control his actions. It's just not the space you want to be coming from. Again, if your goal is unconditional, eternal love, godly covenant marriage, you want to have your identity rooted in something that is greater, deeper, and higher than a flesh and blood man. Number 4, in your dating window, I really recommend dating multiple people. Why? Because it's going to give you a sense of abundance. You're going to see that with every person that you have a date with, have an experience with, there are things that you love about the way that they show up, and there are things that you would want to refine. You'll start to understand that no man is perfect. So you'll be willing to be sacrificial in love in the way that love actually requires, because like I said, no man is perfect, but you will also see the level of effort that certain men put in, and it will raise the bar for you on what you come to require in love and an effort with a man. The other thing is, when you have that feeling of abundance, that feeling of choice, it's easy for you to walk away quickly. And that is something else I recommend. Walk away quickly when you see something that you know doesn't align with your values or doesn't align with the outcome that you're looking for. If you're looking to be in a marriage, for example, and you end up on a date with a man who is divorced and now no longer believes in marriage and is being a single father and just wants to have experiences with women, no matter how many gifts, no matter how many beautiful experiences he wants to give you, that is not a match for what you're seeking. So walk away quickly. And I use that example because it's something that actually happened to me on a date. This person brought a very extravagant gift. We had a beautiful time, but from that one conversation, I knew that there was no way that our values and our priorities were ever going to align. So I never saw him again. And in my experience, the right man is the one who makes your heart feel safe. Not that he doesn't bring adventure and excitement and passion. My now husband flew me all the way to Europe, and we had so many adventures together, and that was like our second date. So I'm not saying that it won't be exciting, but that your heart actually feels totally safe, at ease, and at rest with this person. That you feel lavished, that you feel receptive, that you're not second guessing or doubting yourself in the process. In my experience, the men who make you double-minded, the men who make you second guess yourself are the wrong ones. Because I firmly believe that you are more than enough for the right man for you. And so anyone who's making you feel like you're not enough is just not the right man. End of story. And number 5, know that a man who doesn't want to lose you and who is ready for real love and commitment and family, he will do anything to show you. Anything within his power, of course. And not in his words, but in his actions. I met a lot of people who loved to talk about love, to promise and paint a picture of what they would do for me when I'm their wife. And that is not real. As beautiful as it is to hear those things, when I met my husband, one of the ways I knew he was the right one is because he would never make grandiose promises. He would say, "You'll see." And then he would do something that would blow my mind, that would change my life. I met my husband on an app, and we were living in different states, and he actually flew from where he was living to the state that I was living in to take me on our first date. He stayed for a week. I was vetting him. We fell in love. And then he had already planned a trip for himself to go to Europe, so he asked me to meet him in Paris for Valentine's Day. So that was our second date. We went all over Europe together. We stayed in Paris. We stayed on the coast of Italy. It was literally like a movie. We weren't sleeping together. It was just a beautiful courtship where we genuinely fell in love, and it was so pure. And we just got closer and closer and closer. And by the time we had been dating for 9 months, he proposed, and we got married a couple months later. Within a couple months of knowing each other, he had moved out of his state and moved to my state so that we could be together and build something serious, and now we have a family. It just goes to show you how much magic can happen and what God can really do in your love life when you're prepared, when you open the space, when you heal your heart, when you have your priorities in order, and when you're intentional about seeking someone who's in agreement and in alignment with you about what they want for the future. When you're walking with love, when you're walking with God, when you're putting out, good intention and you're stable in yourself, have faith that anything can happen. And through the process, if you lose things, if your heart gets broken, just remember, no matter what, I'm loved, and no one can change that. Did I have people walk away that surprised me? Did I have things that happened that hurt me in different types of ways? Of course, but I never for a second doubted who I was, that I was loved, that I was worthy, or that I was going to have the love story that God promised me, because I saw it in my visions. Know that love will come at the right and perfect appointed time, and until then, use the spaciousness to release anything that needs to go, to rewrite any old stories, to heal your heart, to secure your identity in something bigger than you, to get your money up so that you don't feel any lack when it comes to dating or provision. And I really hope that you catch yourself saying this year, wow, I prayed for this. It's actually here. It's actually happening. Because that was the feeling I had when I met my husband. Actually, at the end of our first week together, I woke up one morning and I was lying in my bed, and I just remember putting on the song Chapel of Love. And I was singing it to myself, and I literally knew I'm going to marry this man. And it wasn't any feeling of drama or hope or desperation. It was like a calm, safe, easy knowing. It was the most natural thing in the world. And sure enough, we got married. So I hope this helped someone and gave you clarity on dating and love and marriage. And I will see you in the next video. Sending you so much love. Bye-bye.